Fox News host Dana Perino spent her Thanksgiving doing something quite different from many of us. She was serving others abroad. Dana, thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm grateful to be back. I'm really grateful that I had the experience and the fact that you are willing to talk to me about it and let me reminisce a little bit about that adventurous trip is really meaningful to me. So thank you, Billy.
Well, thank you. I mean, let's dig into this because you were serving, and you've done this now for a number of years with Mercy Ships. You were over in Africa on Thanksgiving when other people are at home with their families, enjoying the holiday. You were doing something very different. You were out there serving. For those who don't know, let's just start with what is Mercy Ships, because I think there are people out there who don't know.
What's interesting is that I didn't know what Mercy Ships was either, but let me tell you why I even got involved in the first place. In 2010, I believe it's 2010, maybe 2011, I got a request to come down and interview the President and Mrs. Bush on stage for an event that Mercy Ships was doing. And it was a kickoff to the Capitol campaign that raised the money to build this new ship. So Mercy Ships is a surgical hospital ship. It started, I think, 50 years ago in the 70s. I'm showing my age, but anyway, and it was started by Don and Deyon Stephens, a couple from Texas, and they had this goal of helping the people who feel hopeless and the forgotten poor, right? And this was a Jesus-based mission, and their idea was, could we bring surgeons to West Africa where there are none? I mean, Billy, in America, we have one surgeon per 10,000 people or something like that. They have one surgeon for like 2 million people. And surgery is a little bit different from just healthcare, right? So surgery can be so effective for some. And if you cannot get it, your pain or your disfigurement, your deformity, something like none of that will ever get better. So
you're just languishing essentially with no
basically
care.
And for a lot of the people that they would see on their mission trips, initially before Mercy Ships even got started, is that there's just a lack of education, and some people with these afflictions would be cast aside. Okay, they're burdens on their families and their village, and or they, for example, if a baby is born with some problem that surgery could fix, but they don't know that, they might tell the mother that she did something wrong. Okay, So this perpetuates and perpetuates. They created this idea for the ship, and they retrofitted one of these ferry ships that was a transport ship out of the Netherlands or Denmark. This current ship is built as a hospital surgical ship for Mercy Ships. It is so comfortable and so nice. State of the art. Everybody is a volunteer on the ship. There are surgeons that come for a week or 2 weeks, or maybe they'll stay for longer periods of time. Dr. Mark Schreim is somebody who does a lot of the max facts. I'm going like this because you've seen those tumors, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah.
He's a Harvard-trained doctor. He goes for 6 weeks every semester to go and do surgeries and then follow-up surgeries, for example. There's cataract surgeons, et cetera, et cetera. I went and I did this interview with President and Mrs. Bush, but I said to my husband, I got to go see this for myself. And so we went in 2013. They were based in Congo that year. In 2017, we went to Benin. What's significant about those years is that I tried to go the year after an election, okay? Partly to just recompose, remind myself. I call these trips priorities with a capital P, okay? And so we would go. We missed the COVID year. We did go to Rwanda in 2023 to visit another friend's charity. So to return to see the Global Mercy with all of these amazing volunteers, many are American. The majority of the volunteers are American, but the Netherlands, they are very close behind. Australia, and then you have, I think, about 50 different countries represented on the ship. And they take care of so many patients, and they do it with such grace. My favorite thing to go and watch is that they're so kind to each other, but this is what I can assure everyone. They don't waste $1, ever. I've been several times. I've seen it with my own eyes. They're very good stewards of the donations that they get.
How do you, when you're going to a place like this and you're seeing the amazing things that these people are doing, treating and helping people who don't have medical care, but you're seeing the stories of the people who are coming in, and you were mentioning some of the things that led to the creation of Mercy Ships even. What goes through your heart and your mind as we look at our lives and how we live here in America, the access to things that we have, and it's so easy to complain about things, right, in life, and yet you're then in this situation where you see what real suffering looks like and what
Yeah.
real service looks like. But what goes through your heart when you navigate that?
It's like it is a real reminder of what President Bush and Mrs. Bush took me initially to see. So when I was the White House press secretary, I used to talk about the president's emergency plan for AIDS relief all the time, and I could tell you every statistic about it. But then when I finally got to go and witness it for the first time, and you use all five senses, and then I was like, oh, this is what it means. And I remember walking with President Bush, and there was these little kids, and they were getting a presentation of some sort, a public health presentation, and they were all under a tree. And as he walked by, one of the little kids says, "God is good." It calls to him, "God is good." And President Bush said, "All the time." And so it helps me it helps me reconnect. It helps me think about, of course, like no problem that I have is ever as big as the ones that they'll have.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
perspective is very important. And also just a chance to say, okay, well, how can we help? Like I can donate some money, but I'm not going to be their biggest donor. I just won't. I don't have that kind of wealth. But what can I do? And what does Fox News let me do? So I take myself there, but Fox gives me the time and the resources to help tell their stories. And that has made a huge difference for Mercy Ships. The generosity of Fox viewers is really something to behold. But I would also say the generosity from Suzanne Scott, our CEO, Jay Wallace, the president, Irina and Jessica here on your team, on the media relations team, everybody came together to help. The production guys, they helped train my assistant who went with me, and she was field producing by herself something that would take a whole entire crew to do. And we were doing it in a third world country on a ship with technology that's changed so much. It was really very special.
I love that. I mean, there's another organization, and I won't name them because I don't know that I can, but we did an interview with them about an issue going on. And, you can relate to this when you're able to use the platform that you have to do something. I was told that this interview generated tens of thousands of dollars in donations in a day or two. And I thought, wow, it really is powerful that you've chosen to take that, and that Fox has chosen to, go all in and really help promote what Mercy Ships is doing, because this is important work that people are not hearing about and that people desperately need. I mean, I think about how terrifying it would be to have a sick child or to be sick yourself and to have nowhere to go. I mean, I can't emphasize how amazing it is. And so in saying that, I know there were a lot of stories that you captured and saw and you've been sharing them. What is the thing, and this might be hard to answer, but when you walk away from this trip, the thing that stuck with you, the moment that stuck with you the most?
Well, I think that the vision of Mercy Ships to help build this new ship from scratch as a state-of-the-art hospital. We talked to nurses and doctors, volunteers from America who are serving on the ship, who said they don't even have hospitals this good where they work in America. It is that state-of-the-art, really fantastic. And I would say that the cabins that they've built, the gym that they have, the walking track, the school that's on the ship is a wonderful, amazing academy. Imagine being able to send your kids to a school like that, where they get almost, I mean, it's not one-on-one tutoring, but its class sizes are very small, and it's a Christian-based education. That's really amazing. So I think that the vision that Don Stephens had to get this ship to a position where you gave the surgeons everything that they possibly needed and a chance to live in a comfortable environment that's collaborative and fun and moving. Like, to me, I walked away saying that is incredible. But I would also say this. Kate DePietro and Molly Harrigan, who I took with me, young people that I wanted to do the same thing that President Bush did for me, which is pass it on. So that's what my husband and I decided to do. And on the Thursday morning, we walked with somebody that I really think you should interview sometime. His name is Matt Murray. And one of the things that's interesting about where we are in America, where you have a lot of people about to retire, but they're not quite ready to not do anything. There's a second chapter in a lot of these people. And Matt Murray is now the director of the ship. He was the police chief in Yakima, Washington, most recently. He
Oh,
retired from
wow.
there, and I believe his wife is a nurse. So they're both volunteering on the ship. She's not a teacher, right? I'm sorry, I'm asking Kate. I think she's a nurse. And he is the most incredible person. And he goes for a walk every morning in Freetown off the ship at 6 a.m. in the dark. And we said, okay, we'll go with you. So my little merry band, we got up early on Thanksgiving Day and we walked with him, and to walk with him living his faith. And he wasn't afraid. I was a little afraid,
Yeah,
but I was with
understandable.
him, and there was a confidence in him. And then you realize, oh, he knows all these people. They're like, hey, boss, how are you? Oh, getting your exercise today? How's it going? Now, Mercy Ships has an incredible support system in Sierra Leone. The brand is very strong. My husband was wearing his Mercy Ships cap when we went through the airport, and we started to have not hassles at immigration, but you could imagine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, Mercy Ships? Oh, please come on through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That, you know, as you're telling that story, I'm thinking, you mentioned he's not fearful in faith. And how has this experience of supporting Mercy Ships, being there, how has it transformed, impacted, changed your own faith?
Well, it reinforces it. I grew up in a Lutheran church. My parents were very strong supporters of the refugee program in Denver, Colorado. So we spent our weekends when we were kids helping resettle refugees either from Vietnam or from the former Soviet Union. And that instilled in me an understanding of what it is like to help others and to get some joy out of that. So it reconnects me to my early years, my formative years. And then does help me also remember that here at Fox, it is safe to talk about faith. Okay. That's not always the case. And it's interesting to have people that work on the ship who see us on either YouTube, or maybe that they have a chance to watch the actual shows, or that you can get the Fox One app. They have all sorts of technology there. Everything's fine. That they'll say, thank you for being willing to talk about your faith. And for me, I'm always like, oh, well, yeah, sure, of course. But then I remember Jesus said, you're going to be challenged this way. It's going to be hard for you to talk about it. And so in a small way, if I can add to people's confidence to feel that they can talk about how they feel and to profess God's love, then I mean, that's the good stuff of being able to work here.
I love that. And leading by example, it's one thing to talk about loving God and loving others, but to show up the way you have on Thanksgiving, I just want to commend you for that. Giving up your holiday, but obviously with a purpose that is so big and so important, and then being willing to spend the time to share that with us and others. I really commend you for that. And I think it's a call to all of us to think of ways that we can love others actively, not just in our speech. Speech is important, but action is more important. Dana, really appreciate you taking the time today.
I hope that one day you get to go visit Mercy Ships for yourself. I think you would love the journey.
I said to you before we started, I'm jealous and I want to go. So we're going to have to talk about that, because I would love to be there and see this firsthand. And I just appreciate you sharing it with us.
I appreciate you. Thanks, Billy.